The joke landed like a knife disguised as laughter. "Maybe I'll find 2 men half your age tonight," Melissa had said, slipping on her silver earrings and flashing that playful smirk that used to melt me years ago. But tonight it didn't feel playful. Felt sharp. I laughed, or pretended to. The sound came out dry, hollow. "Just make sure they can afford your taste in wine," I said, forcing a grin as she spritzed perfume on her neck. That same jasmine scent I used to bury my face in when we were still us. She looked over her shoulder, eyes glinting in the mirror. "Don't wait up," she said, half teasing, half daring me. And then she was gone. Melissa and I had been married 12 years. Long enough to see love transform from fireworks into embers, then into something quieter. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that hides secrets under folded laundry and polite smiles. Lately she'd been different. Always working late. Always on her phone. Her laughter just a little too bright when she texted someone I didn't know. I used to trust her completely. But trust is fragile. Once cracked, it never fits back perfectly again. So when she made that joke tonight, it wasn't funny anymore. It was confirmation. I stared at the door after she left, a knot in my throat. My hands shook as I reached for my phone. I wasn't proud of what I did next, tracking her through the Find My Phone app one had set up months ago. I told myself it was for safety. Maybe part of me knew it would come to this. Her phone moved across town. Not to her office. Not even close. It stopped near a small bar by the river, a cozy place we used to visit on anniversaries. Funny how betrayal often hides in places once sacred. I grabbed my keys. The night was cool, the kind that hums with secrets. I parked a few buildings away, my heart pounding hard enough to shake my chest. Through the bar's front window I spotted her. Melissa. In that blue dress she knew I loved. But she wasn't alone. He sat across from her. Younger, maybe 30, charming in that effortless way. He leaned in close and she laughed, her hand brushing his wrist. That laugh. The one she hadn't shared with me in months. I should have felt anger. But what I felt was something worse. Emptiness. Still, I couldn't storm in there. Not yet. That would give her control of the story. Make me the jealous husband, the fool. Well, if she wanted a performance, I'd give her one. But it would be mine. I drove home in silence, the kind of silence that buzzes in your ears. I poured a glass of whiskey, sat at the kitchen table and thought. If she wanted to see what it felt like to be replaced, to be outsmarted, I'd show her. That night I set everything in motion. The next morning I made breakfast like nothing had happened. "Morning," she said casually, avoiding eye contact. Her hair was slightly tousled, her lipstick faint but still there. She hadn't stayed at a friend's place like she claimed. I knew that much. "Morning," I replied. "Did you have fun last night?" She froze for a heartbeat, then smiled too quickly. "Yeah, just the girls. We ended up dancing till late." I nodded, pretending to believe her. "Good. You deserve that." But inside a storm was brewing. 2 weeks later it was her birthday. She'd probably forgotten that I remembered. Lately, she assumed I forgot everything that mattered. When she came home that evening, she found the house dark except for soft candles lining the hallway. Jazz music played, her favorite. "Oh," she said, genuinely surprised. "You did all this?" "Of course," I smiled. "You're my wife, remember?" For a moment, guilt flickered in her eyes. Or maybe it was the candlelight playing tricks. I led her to the dining room. On the table sat 2 glasses of champagne and a silver envelope. "What's this?" she asked. "Just a little surprise. Open it." She slid a manicured finger under the flap and pulled out 2 printed tickets. "Weekend getaway," she read aloud. "The Riverview Lodge." Her smile faltered. That was the name of the hotel near the bar. The same place she'd taken her lover. I had confirmed it days ago. "Yes," I said softly, watching her eyes widen. "You like that place, don't you?" Her face drained of color. "What do you mean?" "Oh, come on, Melissa." My voice broke. Not with anger but exhaustion. "You didn't even bother to hide it." The bar, the hotel, the same perfume, the same lies. I know. Her lips parted, but no words came. I leaned closer. When you joked about finding younger men that night. I guess it wasn't a joke after all. Tears filled her eyes. It wasn't like that. I laughed bitterly. Then tell me what it was like. Tell me why our bed feels colder every night. Why your laughter only exists when I'm not around. She started crying then, the quiet kind that comes from realizing the damage is irreversible. I was lonely, Daniel, she whispered. You were always working, always tired, always distant. I just wanted to feel. Wanted again. The words cut deep because part of them were true. I had been distant. Life, work, exhaustion, they all piled up. But betrayal isn't a remedy for neglect. It's poison disguised as attention. So you punished me for loving you too quietly? Yes. She shook her head, reaching for my hand. No, I made a mistake. Please. Pulled away. You didn't make a mistake, Melissa. You made a choice. That night, I slept in the guest room. She didn't follow. Maybe she knew it was over. Maybe she just didn't have the strength to fight anymore. But I didn't either. The next morning, she was gone when I woke. Her closet half empty. Her perfume lingering in the air like a ghost refusing to leave. On the kitchen counter was a note. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve this. Maybe one day you'll understand why I broke something that was already cracking. I stared at it for a long time. The words didn't bring closure. They just deepened the ache. Weeks passed. Friends asked about her. I said she was visiting family. Eventually they stopped asking. Every night, I sat on the porch, whiskey in hand, staring at the river across the street. The same river that ran by the bar. The one that witnessed our end. Sometimes I replayed that moment. Her frozen expression when she realized I knew everything. That single second when the illusion shattered, and we stood there, stripped of pretense. She looked terrified. Not because she was caught, but because she finally saw what her choices had done. Months later she called. Daniel, she said quietly. I'm sorry. I think about you every day. I almost hung up. But something stopped me. Melissa, I said softly. I hope you find what you were looking for. Because I did. What? Peace. And then I ended the call. Sometimes love doesn't die all at once. It fades, like the last flame in a dying candle, stubbornly holding on before surrendering to darkness. Melissa's betrayal taught me that love without trust is just memory, and memories can't warm you at night. She once joked about finding men half my age. But in the end, she found out something far heavier. No thrill, no secret, no fleeting touch can replace the quiet strength of someone who truly loved you, until you made them stop. And that realization was her real punishment.